we have something in common, which is that I believe that we both have spent time with Michael Doherty.
Oh my God, you know Michael Doherty.
I do know Michael Doherty. Do you want to see this photo shoot that we did together a little while back?
Michael Doherty was my constituent, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
How did I miss this? How did I miss? What did this lead on to any? Did this escalate?
I'm gonna be real with you. This was an April Fool's prank. I basically announced my debut doing gay porn.
That's hilarious. And
But
you chose Michael Doherty.
I was throwing them off the scent. Yeah, well, actually, Mitchell, my publicist, who you know, I believe he helped to arrange. That was like his choice. Later on, I started to feel like maybe a black guy would have been a little bit more viral because I feel like that's what my audience would.
But then he's a twink, right?
Yeah.
So that image alone is disturbing.
But how did you guys end up spending time together?
Michael was my constituent. I've been going to his dad's glasses store for like years to get my contacts and my reading glasses. So it's like I didn't meet him until a friend in common is like, oh, you know Michael Doherty, this and that, and then conversation goes. I'm like, oh, my dad owns Cheapers Peepers. I'm like, oh shit, that's the spot in my district that I go to for glasses. And then they're like, oh, it's funny. Have a lot of friends in common. So I did his podcast that he launched. Michael Doherty is an interesting kid.
Really?
His brother's even more interesting.
You attracted to him?
Not at all.
Not your type?
Not at all.
What do you go for?
Not at all. My husband's Brazilian. Totally not at all.
And how long you been together?
6 years together, 2 years married.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how has he handled the last year of your life?
He hates all of it.
Really hates it.
He hates all of it. He wants me gone from the public
Does
spotlight.
Put a strain on your relationship?
Well, no, because he's very he trusts that I always have a plan, and it's very simple. Every time he says, "I want you out of the public spotlight," I'm like, "All right, guess no more bags for you." He's obsessed with bags, right? So, and when I said, he's like, "Go, you have an interview to do. Go, just do your thing." Like it's tongue in cheek, but the reality is he supports me. And he has my back, and that's what I think everybody could aspire to have in a relationship. So
you're buying him bags, so are you kind of like the more masculine presence in this relationship?
Totally.
Okay.
Totally. But not that there's a difference there, but like, you know, some dudes wear bags these days. What can I say? My husband's one of them.
You're the top and he's the bottom?
I'm not getting into that with you.
I didn't know if that was like a normal
I'm definitely not getting into that with you.
I'm just trying to paint the picture like in my own head. I want to know what's going on, you know? Like straight people are very curious about this sort of thing.
No, trust me, I know. I get that question asked quite often.
Do you really? Oh, I'm thinking I'm like a shock jock saying that.
It's usually straight people who ask me that question too.
Yeah, I mean, we all want to know what's going on behind closed doors. But is that kind of like real taboo to talk about that?
No, I'm just not giving you that for free. Right. But you can subscribe to my OnlyFans when it launches.
Really?
Then we'll talk about that.
And you're planning on doing the full thing on there?
No,
right?
No, absolutely not.
Maybe just some topless pics or something.
Yeah, something like that. Really? Show your moobs.
Moobs. Holy shit. Okay, so I wanted to say, or I wanted to ask. There's a lot of conversations about young people and people of color and, you know, perhaps the hip-hop world kind of turning to conservatism. Whereas if you think back to, you know, the election of Donald Trump, it felt like Kanye was really at the forefront of this, of saying positive things about Trump, and he was absolutely destroyed by the mainstream media and the hip hop media.
So was a
lot of that feels like it's kind of out the window now at this point. Like,
well, he pardoned Lil Wayne,
right? And Kodak Black,
and then remember
got ASAP Rocky out of what was it, Sweden, when he was going through all that shit.
I forgot her name now. It escapes me. But female rapper here from Manhattan. She has that song 212. What's her name? She was really out strong for Trump in the very beginning. And then she kind of pulled back because she suffered cancellation, right? But now I think she's right back on the Trump train, and all these rappers are back on the Trump train. You know why?
Right.
It's common sense. Like, Biden has left Black Americans. Remember when he said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black?
Right.
First of all, that's offensive. Second,
I feel like that falls in line with all the other like nonsensical statements that he's kind of constantly making, right?
But then again, like, are we just going to make excuses for a man who called every black man a super predator in the 90s? This is who Joe Biden really is.
That was a different time politically, right?
But do you believe all black men were super predators in the 90s?
I don't, but I think we were in a political climate where like people really wanted candidates who were going to be hard on crime, right?
Yeah, I get it, but But
I don't think he said that every black man was a.
He said that on the House floor. No, he said that on the Senate floor.
Everyone. I mean,
he literally said. No, he said every black man is a potential super predator. That's on the record from
Okay.
90s.
I might have to do my Googles.
Here's what I'll say about Joe Biden's history. Joe Biden has a history of being racist. Joe Biden is no walk in the park for the black community. He's never done anything to advance education in the black community. He's never done anything to do anything better for children, for single moms. All they care about doing is keeping people exactly where they are. Here's your benefits, here's your housing, but we're not going to move and progress you forward because that gives people knowledge. And knowledge shows people the bullshit that they're being spoon-fed by, oh, here, live in your subpar, subhuman conditions in a New York City public housing apartment with intermittent hot water. Well, look, the boiler broke. We can't really fix it, but we're going to give you space heaters. Oh, the gas line is eroded because it hasn't been replaced in 40 years, but we're going to give you induction tops so you can cook. So here's
But you're
two
really
of them.
telling me that the Republicans are going to, in some way, make this better?
Yeah.
What are they doing?
I'll tell you very simple. When Bloomberg ran the city and Giuliani ran the city, public housing in the city was actually in order. People had dignified lives. Maintenance was regular. It wasn't until de Blasio who entered into a public-private partnership to better things, essentially lining the pockets of all the special interests that he owed favors to, and the Clinton faction of the New York City politics owed favors to, that black Americans in projects like Queensbridge and Ravenswood in Queens, which are arguably two of the largest public housing projects in the country, live in subpar, subhuman conditions. Roach infestation, bed bugs infestation, rats crawling outside walls. Dude, it's just gross.
But okay, if we found 100 black Trump voters, I feel like we're not going to hear anything like what you just said. We're going to hear strictly about culture war issues, which is where the right seems
Because
to
it's
be
stupid.
really kind of winning.
Because the right doesn't know how to talk about management. The right doesn't know how to message. When I say Democrats are masters at messaging, they're masters at messaging real issues. Republicans are good at messaging high-level issues, border, crime. That's all Republicans know how to message on, right? Democrats know how to message on everything else. If Republicans get elected, you're going to lose your housing, which is a lie. Not one person loses housing when Republicans are in office. The only difference is housing works better, and we also adhere to the program, you know, hey, you can't make this a way of life. This is a lifeline, and this is a springboard to get you out of poverty, but you got to go to workshops. You got to take classes. The city, the state, the government will pay for you to better yourself so you can go get a job, go independent, and get the hell out of the system so that the next person that needs it in open space so that person can go through the system. But the system is not supposed to be a way of life. That's what Republicans enforce. Democrats won't enforce that.